Hey guys, it's Lindsay, and it's been a while. I have just had a really crazy year thus far, and I'm in kind of a temporary filming setup. This is my husband's desk, and my camera tripod situation is on the desk, so I imagine things are going to shake around just a little bit, and my light source isn't in front of my desk, so basically bear with me. Also, he's upstairs making us pancakes for breakfast, so you might hear him and some cooking noises. But I wanted to do a really quick Q1 wrap up and just kind of say, like, hey, I'm still here. For those of you that have been patiently waiting and subscribed, thank you for sticking with me. I've been traveling for work. I work in software design, and we had a system just go live, and it's not been going well. So I've been traveling weekly and working like 70-hour weeks since the beginning of February. It's just been a little bit insane. And then on top of all of that, we got really serious about buying a home, and we met with a realtor, I think the last week of January, and we closed on our home March 14th, and we just moved in this past weekend, so it's just been very very busy, but thanks to that I've been extremely consistent with my planning system. So let's just jump into that. So I have been, I guess, in a very committed relationship with my Filofax Pocket. I moved back into Pocket, I think, in July of 2024, and yeah, we're still in it, which is just kind of crazy to say, but I don't know, it works really well for me. I thoroughly expected rings to kind of break down with all the traveling, but I did a little bit of prep work in early January, getting pages prepared, print, cut, and punched, because I do print my own inserts, and I just kind of keep them in a spare little binder, and it's been really easy to kind of grab from there. And then when I do have an off evening, which has been kind of rare, I do try and just kind of print out some dailies and notes pages, things that I know I'll use. But anyway, this is the Filofax Ranger. This cover is unfortunately discontinued. I got mine on eBay last January 2024, and it's probably my favorite cover because there's a gusseted pocket on the front, and I keep my ID and credit card in here, so when I go through TSA security, it's super easy to kind of access that without having to open up to my paper planner, which I like. But this is my main planner and my wallet, and yeah, I'm due for an updated love letter to my Filofax video, but I want to do like a Filofax 101 series later this year. I think it'll be a few more weeks before I can kind of film regularly again, but anyway, hopefully I don't jinx myself with that one. But in the front of my planner, I have my month on 2 pages. I'm using the dated ones from my shop, the Ghosting Pen for 2025, which has just made everything a little bit less high maintenance, which I've appreciated. And yeah, things have been really busy, but I keep these pretty functional and minimal. Just a sticker to the page flags have been essential and just kind of visualizing things. And I do keep the full year in here in one go. My next section is my habit tracker / collections. I come from a bullet journal background, and you can 100% bullet journal in rings, but this is probably my favorite section. I feel like we need to zoom in. I keep lifting you up one second. Is that any better? I don't know. But yeah, this is my trackers. So I keep my running shopping list on the back here, and then I've got my mood and gratitude log. So I just do high level mood and then one thing I'm grateful for each day. My habit tracker for the month. This is now in the shop, by the way. I have my cycle log where I just track my period and different symptoms. My planner system log, which I've been so incredibly consistent. I think I've gone 8 days this year in something other than pocket rings, which is basically a record for me. I've got the annual weekly tracker for my workout log. I need to pull this out, but this is a cleaning log that I attempted, but now that we've moved, that's all changed. My adulting log, which is basically like a when did I last type of spread, along with big important non-automated tasks that I need to do year to year. And then on the back of that, I've been tracking some medical stuff just so I've got that all consolidated. date night log, which is just a grid insert that I drew a line on when my husband and I go on date nights, and then call log is when I talk with my best friend, and we've not talked at all this year. It's been, I need to call her. Fan fiction log for this year, and then gift idea spreads for family members. This is my reference insert from last year, and it's just like little things that I wrote on my dailies that I wanted to be able to find long term, and it's almost like a micro commonplace in a way, and I'm really liking this. I'm going to continue that on, but I just kept it because I hadn't written on the back page yet, so 2025 is going on the back, and then if I need more, I'll add more. Lake log. I live in Minnesota, and I just thought it would be kind of comical to write down every time we go to a new lake, because apparently there's 10,000 of them. Things to do in our area, and then my Stardew Valley fold out with images from Reddit, which I've not played Stardew Valley probably more than once this year, but it feels like I lose something if I take it out. So she stays. I have a little 3M divider, and I wrote on here, I am content and attract wealth, to sort of subdivide out my finance section. And I've got a fold out that I made myself that I'm using some stickers to track my spending habits. So green or brown indicates a no spend day. Yellow means it was sort of like a healthy spend, so something sat on my wish list for the appropriate amount of time. And then red is impulsive, and that is Chicago Stationery Fest. I had a really fun time at Chicago Stationery Fest. I'm just now realizing that I'm filming this in April, and I took out all my March pages, so you're not going to see all the fun spreads that I had from that, but maybe I'll make a Q1 archive flip through and you guys can see that. But behind that I have a wish list for the month, and then fun money, package tracker, starting to track purchases for our house, like furniture wise, my planner low buy log for 2025, a DIY online return log that I carried over from last year and just kind of working through the final pages, and then low buy weekly recaps, and look at all those zeros in a row. I've been very, very good. Some financial summaries at the end of the month, just so I can kind of see it all snapshotted, and then I like just to keep a list of things that come into our home year over year. I don't know why, but I do. Divider number 2 indicates like my project section. So I've got 2 main projects going on. I just moved over kind of all my fitness inserts into here because I've not been taking very good care of myself this year. Last year I got into a really good routine. My mental health was in check. I was moving my body. I was eating well. 2025 has not been that. So I'm trying to get back into it. So I've kind of dubbed it a project to give it some more focus, but same fold out, same washi stickers from Stylogy to track some of my eating habits. I just track whether I eat on plan, if I'm eating out, or if I consume alcohol. That way I can kind of see what the trends are. Little exercise tracker, a weight log, and then my body measurements. And this is carried over from last year, and this insert is by Peanuts Planner Co. I think it's number 1017, but I am not entirely sure. Some notes from a class I took, and then we move into my second project, which I have titled I Am a Homeowner, and I just pulled and kind of cycled out all the inserts. This subsection I was using for house hunting, and I am filming a video specifically for Patreon just to kind of go through the spreads. It was messy, but it worked. And now this kind of switched over to like a moving checklist and like projects and things to purchase and stuff like that for the house. So I still have my master checklist of like things we were trying to do when buying a house, and I am down to making sure my life insurance is in order, and then we need to get a will set up now. Little DIY vision board for our main level. Measurements of different areas in the house, that way I can reference this when we're out at like Goodwill or the thrift shop or a consignment store, so I can make sure a piece is gonna fit in the area that we want it to. My new cleaning checklist, a moving checklist, so just like where I need to do address changes and things like that. Lakeview project list, I'm calling our house Lakeview, if you're curious. And then things to buy. And then I'm just tagging these as urgent needs or wants. That way the urgent things kind of get taken care of first. And then just like some rough notes. We've been shopping for a rug, so that's just back there for now. And then section number 3 is my dailies. I do have a perpetual calendar where I kind of index just high level what's on my dailies. And then I set this in my archive binder at the end of the year. And I guess I lied, my weeklies are after that. So my weeklies are the only thing that's really changed, I think, since my January video, which I think is the only video I put out this year, which is kind of, yeah, I need to get back to it. But I have switched to this week on 2 page. So there's kind of like a rolling weekly section. I've got my meal planning, so lunch, dinner, and grocery lists, and then 2 sections over here for all day events and then date specific tasks. And then I've been kind of annotating with a different colored ink for like memories and little things and notes. And I really love how these look. I whipped this up based on my brief time with my Hobonichi weeks this year. I do have one and it might come up later in the year, but yeah, I'm kind of in that committed relationship with rings, so I don't really see that changing. But I do plan on bringing this to the shop. I've just got to find some time to do a little bit of designing, so I promise I'll get to it. But after my weeklies, and I usually keep about 6 weeks in my planner at a time, I move into my dailies, and I'm using the 3mm horizontal daily log. If you are shaking things. If you're left-handed or you find that rings always get in the way, I'd really recommend searching for a horizontal insert, because you kind of hold it like this and write like this, so the rings aren't, the pen loop is honestly more annoying to me than the rings these days. But I do like my running to-do list for the week, all day events and appoint like high-level things up top, and then the right section is either carryover for to-dos or just like some light memory keeping. We went and saw Princess Mononoke in IMAX, which was really cool. I need to print out a photo here. I watched a movie the other night, so I wanted to just kind of write about that. But yeah, the nice thing about a full daily for me right now is that because my time is so busy right now, like I know I want to go back and like doodle something or draw, but because I have a full day per page, I can kind of allow myself to hit pause on this, move forward onto the next day, and then just come back to this when I feel like it, or I leave it blank and it's totally cool. Yeah, so it's just been working out really well, and my routines with this planner have been super consistent, so I don't have to like overthink about anything, which has been really nice. I do keep 30 days in here usually, and then kind of flip them out. And then after that, I have my work weekly, and I do have a standard size Hobonichi weeks that I've been using for work, I would say like more regularly, but yeah, I'm still using the vertical weekly when I feel like it. I just flipped these out for April, so they're new, and you guys don't see the chaos that has been my work planner. But I would say when I'm at home, on the rare weeks that I have been remote, I prefer to plan in my pocket rings. But when I'm on site, I typically use the standard size Hobonichi weeks because I don't necessarily want to take my pocket with me from room to room or building to building. But yeah, I have about a month's worth in here as well. And then this section is my journals section, and I'm using like 3mm grid. I print off photos. I use some stickers from Randy. And yeah, this is kind of my Dear Diary journaling. This is not my memory keeper. This is kind of more like I've just got some thoughts bubbling in my head, or I want to ramble about planners. That type of thing kind of goes in here, and then I mark that with a Filofax bookmark, and then I've just got a bunch of blank pages. And then behind that is my shop / Lindsay Scribble section. So I've just got like a D-stash list, some YouTube video ideas, Patreon video ideas, some notes on editing and dimensions for insert making in the shop, and then I have some blotting paper, and then finally a Hobonichi Weeks pencil board that I cut down that I just use as a straight edge. And then in the back pocket, I keep those date stickers. I love this color orange. It's just a paint sample. I'm planning on punching it and turning it into a bookmark. And then I have the 2x3 photo freebies that I like to just kind of add either extra journaling or kind of paste in photos in my planner. And yeah, that is my Filofax. So for journaling this year, I've actually been in the A6 Hobonichi techo, and I did set this up late December, but kind of backpedaled, so I don't think I've made an official video on it. And January, honestly, I tried a lot of different journals, but finally settled back into this one, and I'm really glad I did because it's about all I can handle this year. And I was missing having a daily page. I've been journaling on a daily since 2019, so it just felt weird not doing that, but I needed something that I could actually keep up with, and the A6 size, particularly in the Hobonichi techo, is like perfection for me. I'm definitely behind at any given moment, but it's just kind of my hobby for this year, so I've made my peace with that. But yeah, this is my journal. So in here I've got a folder from Traveler's Company with just, again, more blank inserts because I'm traveling a lot right now for my Filofax, just in case I need some extras. And Felix of Stray Kids, of course. And then this was a little Valentine that I got from a coworker, which I thought was just super cute. And then they're hard to see, but I do have tabs on here, and those are also from Randy.plans. But this has been my journal / memory keeper for the year. I am indexing my pages kind of calendex style, the way I pretty much always have in my Hobonichi Cousins for years. So just kind of like a brief what is written on each day, and then I use various symbols to kind of index what type of spread it is. I want to do a deep dive on this, so we'll save that for that video. But there are monthly spreads in here too, and I think I filled out December, and the rest of them have not been filled out, but this is so low on my totem pole of things to do that it's just, you know, if they're totally blank at the end of the year, cool. One thing I did make time for in December was kind of to write a letter to myself, and this first page is just kind of acknowledging how far I came in 2024, and then the right hand side is things that I'm looking forward to or goals I'm hoping to accomplish in 2025. And I really hope that this is something I continue to do in my journals every year because I really enjoy doing that. And then, yeah, memory keeping. So the reason I really like the A6 size is that by the time you kind of take the header off and the quotes, you're basically filling out a passport size page per day. I have been using a mix of fountain pen in here. I'm using pretty much my Pilot Vanishing Point and Extra Fine ink with the Atramentis. I think I'm using Document Black this year because I ran out of the Archive Black. I use them both kind of interchangeably. There's like little 5 to-do boxes at the top, and that's where I'll kind of put all-day events. So if it was like someone's birthday or big world event or something that I want to note about the day that I might not journal about, that kind of goes up top. And otherwise, I'll paste in like ephemera or a photo. If I only end up with one piece of ephemera, it goes in here by default. If I end up with 2, which I often do because I'm married, so like if I get a sticker, then usually my husband gets a sticker too. So then I'll put 1 in my pocket rings and then 1 in here. But if I only have 1 piece, I usually allow it to go in here as kind of like the designated spot, which is a little thing, but honestly, having small little rules like that helps me a lot with my decision fatigue, because I'm always like, what goes in my planner versus what goes in my journal. So just kind of ephemera journal gets priority on. And I think I'll probably get asked about the paper. I have tried a couple different Hobonichis this year. I did briefly return to the Hobonichi Cousin in January and very quickly realized that I was not going to be able to keep up with that. I'm going to have to blur that. And the paper and the Cousin just did not go well. Definitely experienced like bleed through with my regular pens, and here I would say the paper's been very passable. I haven't really had any like issues. Oh, this was a letter someone wrote to me during Claire from Online's workshop at the Chicago Stationery Fest, which I thought was just such a fun way to kind of use a blank page. Anyway, yeah, basically my pens are behaving well on this paper, so I'm trying not to get weird about it and just kind of enjoy having a nice batch of paper. And yeah, I've done a little bit of watercoloring in here. The pages get significantly messier as I've just been busier and busier. This is when we closed on our house. But yeah, there's a lot of blank pages. I'm totally cool with it. It's just gonna be how it is this year. More stuff from Chicago Stationery Fest. I had such a blast there. If you attended and said hi, thank you so much for taking the time to do that. It was such a cool experience to just be in a room with so many people that kind of got the hobby and the obsession that is stationery. And then also I was fangirling, and I met like my really good friend Randy. It was our first time meeting in person, and we were roomies for the weekend, and I had such a blast and hung out with Helen of the Coffee Monsters Co. And she is just such a lovely human. And I met like Claire from Online and Kelsey Doodles and Callie Plans and Amanda Lee Plant, just so many people that I've like, you know, interacted with on the internet for years but never met in person. And yeah, I had such a great time. So I hope there's more things like that in the future. And yeah, I am using some of the back pages, but they're not really worth mentioning at this point, I don't think. And then I've just got like my tabs and some stickers and pencil board and blotting paper back here. So yeah, that's my journal for the year, and I just kind of pick this up when I can, and that is about all the expectation I am putting on myself for this year. But we'll see. Q2 is here, and I definitely have a little bit of an itch to switch things up, but also I just don't think making any sudden movements is the plan with how busy I've been. And honestly, I've been having a really good time with these two notebooks this year. So anyway, hopefully I will see you soon, but it'll probably be a few more weeks until I kind of get settled into the house, and then hopefully traveling a little bit less. But until then, thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll see you soon. Bye.